Hello there. Welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show with your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 881. That is 881 of the Agostino Zinga Show, coming at you live and direct from an undisclosed location somewhere within the depths of East London. How you doing? How you feeling? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. How am I? Pretty good, all things considered. Pretty good, all things considered. I'm sure some of you have heard already if you've been tuning into my YouTube, if you've been checking out the Random Show, my other channel. Make sure you check that out on Random Show, available on YouTube, where I talk about comedy stuff and whatever it may be. I did speak about the greatest news that happened to me this past week. The greatest flipping news. TAZS has been remonetized. Hallelujah, hallelujah. TAZS is once again remonetized. I had a very long time in the wilderness where my channel was demonetized for 6 months now. I forgot it was 6 months, but it's been 6 months since my channel was demonetized. I still don't know exactly why it got demonetized, but I'm sure it's something flagrant I said, or it might have been a coordinated attack from somebody who didn't like what I said and reported me to YouTube, which then got me demonetized. And YouTube is really weird or really crappy, because they don't really tell you what happened or why you got demonetized. They just say you did get demonetized. Luckily, it was not permanent. I think I would have been really effed. I would have been really, really effed if it was permanent. But from the beginning, they said it was some sort of temporary thing. I thought I was just going to sit out and not have any monetization for like 3 months initially. But then after the first 3 months was up, I immediately reapplied and they denied me straight away. Again, extra fast. And this time I was quite certain that I would get remonetized because it took super long for them to reply. So I was feeling kind of good about it, but I still wasn't sure. It was taking ages to get any reply from YouTube. I think I sent my monetization request in like a month ago, or more than a month ago. I didn't receive any word back, but last time when I did it and I got denied straight away, I heard back within a couple of days. So I wasn't sure if I should take the delay as a sign that they were going to remonetize me, or as a sign that they were going to say no because they really looked into it properly. I'm not too sure. In the meantime, I've still been making content on this channel. I've still been streaming. I've still been putting up clips, all that malarkey. So I've been kind of running the risk that I could have, further exacerbated my problems, because I wasn't to know what the issue was. So I could have made more content, more streams that could have been way more of a reason to kind of keep me demonetized, but it didn't happen. So I'm really happy about that. And here we are, man. Here we are. TAZS remonetized, back out the doldrums, back out of the dark ages. And now back to doing what I love best, which is balancing these two channels and giving them my all and putting out the best content that I can put out. But God almighty, man, like, I have to be honest, man, that 6 month kind of hurt. I'm not going to lie. That 6 months kind of hurt. It was good because in one regard, it's good to know that you can kind of survive these type of things, right? Sometimes you really do underestimate how strong you are, how resilient you are. And I think I proved that in the last 6 months or so. But my word, man, it really did push me to my limit. So I'm happy that now that storm, that cloud is over, and I can now continue on doing what I was doing prior and just waffling and chatting shit into the air and hoping somebody listens out there, hoping somebody watches out there. You get me? You get me? You get me? You get me? So as we are going forward, what I'm going to probably do with memberships and stuff is I'm going to have 2-tier memberships, I think, for the channel overall. I'm going to have a 99p one just for general support of the show, of the channel in general. And then I'm also going to have like a 4.99 one, which is kind of general what some YouTubers do subscription wise in terms of streams and shit. And I think most likely on here, I'll probably do like member only live streams for the 4.99 thing. Or maybe I'll do a couple of those a month. And then the 1.99 thing, you just get early access to videos and shit going forward. And obviously priority replies as well. So I think that's active now at the moment on my channel. So if you want to join, you can join. If you're listening to the audio side of the podcast, I'll put a link in the description for you to join. There's going to be a 99p tier and a 4.99 tier, just to keep it nice and simple, kind of matching what I do on the Patreon, just to make sure people can kind of access the content. And the perks will be priority replies. I think 99p is priority replies with every comment you leave. So I'll write comments, won't just be emoji reactions. And then of course the 4.99 one will be member exclusive videos and also member exclusive streams as well that will go out on here specifically. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. I'm also thinking, I'm not sure if it's a good idea but it might be a good idea. It probably does make sense. I'm also thinking whether or not I should incorporate some of my mixes into here. I'm thinking maybe I should do like a TAZS radio or a TAZS radio mix series on here instead of doing it on my Persistence radio channel. I might do something similar like that here, like a TAZS doesn't really roll off the tongue that well, but TAZS radio mix series or something. And maybe I'll do that, and then I'll incorporate that into memberships as well. I'm not too sure, but I'll probably do that as well, just to kind of keep everything tight, because I talk about clubs and DJs on here anyway, so it makes sense to kind of do that. And then of course, going forward as well, I'm going to be doing a lot of live streams on here for like menswear fashion week. So if you want to, you know, I know people like Fashion Roman and those kind of guys, they usually focus a lot more on the, you know, I guess you call it ready to wear women's sort of stuff, which I'm not that super clued up on. But when it comes to menswear and streetwear, I think I kind of know what I'm talking about. So I think I'm going to focus a lot in kind of covering all of that stuff when it happens, especially Paris Fashion Week, men's. I'll probably do live streams about that and kind of do reactions on shows and do all that sort of nonsense and go through fucking looking through slideshows and street style pictures from Vogue and stuff. All that good stuff will be happening. So keep an eye on that one. There'll be a lot more fashion stuff, a lot more sneaker stuff, a lot more streetwear stuff, a lot more club stuff. Another thing I also was thinking of doing, there's this channel that I really like on YouTube called Honest Places. I'm not too sure if you guys have seen it. Let me see if I can get it up on here. Bear with me 1 second. There's a YouTube channel that I fucking love. I love this channel. It's a very niche channel. Maybe it's something that only I am somewhat interested in, but I think a lot of you guys have similar interests to me when it comes to this sort of stuff. So let me show you and see if you guys agree. Let me see it. It's over here somewhere. What's it called? I think it's called Honest Places, right? Honest Places. Honest Places. I spelled places wrong, but it doesn't matter. So this guy here, let me get him on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. This channel called Honest Places. It's with a S, it's not with a Z. But this channel here, this guy basically goes around England and records all the coolest he records all the pubs that he encounters around England, basically. And he goes to some really terrible places, like shithole places, like dilapidated places, forgotten places all around England, trying to find the perfect pint, trying to find the perfect pint of Guinness, trying to find the perfect pint of beer, whatever he does, right? And he interacts with locals, goes to the pubs, see what it's about, tries to figure out what the fucking price of a pint is compared to London or other places in the UK. And I think it's a really cool series that he does. I was thinking of doing something similar, but for clubs. I'll probably do it on a separate channel, maybe not on this channel. Maybe I'll just do like one video, like a quote unquote pilot episode. But I think I'm doing the same thing for clubs here. But instead of focusing it on an area, because there's not enough clubs, I don't think, to focus on an area, I'll just focus on one club. Like it would almost be like a get ready. It would almost be a mix of like get ready with me and a kind of like day in the life sort of like review sort of thing vlog, where I'll kind of get prepared and get ready for a night out, go to the club itself, record some footage if I can record it, voice notes of like my feelings about what's happening during the night, who's playing well, any issues I came up with, people I've spoken to, blah blah blah, and then a review at the end. That's what I'm kind of thinking of doing, sort of following the template or following a little bit what this guy does, because when he mostly goes to these places and visits them and checks out the places and kind of does like a man around town sort of thing, and I really like his ones. Let me show you one of them. That's the Blackpool one I watched already, but let's quickly watch. I'll quickly play a bit of this one. This is from where? Drinking in Glasgow, or maybe no, let's just check this one, the Blackpool, out so you can see what the Blackpool one looks like. But this is kind of the vibe I'm trying to go with for this next kind of iteration of TAZS going forward. So it may be a separate channel, it may be on here, but this is what I'm thinking of doing going forward.
Nice bit of vandalism here. Car's been smashed in. Looks like it's recently happened. Hey, look at this, you can get a burger for £1 here. Betting shops, always open betting shops no matter.
Yeah, big up Don Dotto on the stream chat. Big up Don Dotto on the stream chat. Big up Feralism. Big up Feralism with Don Dotto. Yeah, you're right, brother. I'm keeping everything separate. Never bringing them together. And to be fair as well, less about the demonetization, more so for the viewing experience, for the viewer. I don't want people to be like, misled or get annoyed if I'm putting out certain bits of content they don't give a shit about from me, but they give a shit about the other stuff, so you know where to go. So there's no confusion. Like I'm trying to honey dick you by, oh no, watch this channel so you can get the other thing that you want. No. If you want comedy stuff, if you want all that other shit, go on Random Show. If you want fashion, news, streetwear, culture stuff, come on here. So just to keep it nice and clean going forward, I think that's the way to go. In the beginning, I think it made sense for me to keep it on one channel because I was sort of building my channel up and building a little bit of my quote unquote name. But now I don't think there's a need to, and you know, I enjoy it being separate. To be fair, it kind of allows me to kind of work my brain separately as well. So yeah, definitely do that going forward. But less about monetization and more so just to improve the viewing experience for people watching.
And where it is, if you've got buildings next door to like that, your betting shop is always going to be open. Ooh, nice harsh smell of weed there. Let's get away from the harsh realities of Blackpool maybe. Yates's massive franchise pub shut down. That has been shut down for years by the looks of it.
It's mad, isn't it, how crazy everything outside London looks, how dilapidated it looks, like how poor certain parts of the England look that are outside of London. It's mad. It's mad. But this is the type of thing that I want to do for clubs. I want to do exactly the same sort of like flow and style that he's doing, walking around the street, kind of getting a vibe of the area where the clubs are in, maybe checking out a shop to go and eat somewhere, maybe checking out local fucking 24-hour off licenses to see what drinks I can buy, all that sort of shit is what I kind of want to do. But I'll either do a pilot episodes on TAZS, or I'll do a whole series of this on a separate channel. But this is kind of the vibe that I'm kind of going for.
Well, good afternoon from Blackpool, where today we're going to be checking out the streets that people don't look at, the back streets. So we're not going to stick on the front. I'm on the front at the minute just because it's quite nice, so I thought I'd check out the sea. Do you know what I mean? But we're going to check out the back streets, about 2-3 streets from the front, see what's happening there, see if hotels have opened back up, see if they're still shut, because after COVID seems like never recovered. You can fly away for 25 quid, 30 quid return nowadays. So gonna see what it's like and see if it has recovered. So let's go and see what's kicking off in the back streets of Blackpool.
Yeah, I think I discovered him via COVID too. I'm going to be honest. I think that's when I discovered this guy's channel on his places. I think around COVID times when, you know, everyone's at home trying to look for something to watch. I kind of just stumbled across it, and I think he's blown up super hard since then. He's gone abroad too. He's gone to places, I think, like I think he went to Zagreb. He went to somewhere in Eastern Europe as well. So he's really killing it with his sort of like review for pubs and shit. He's sort of like main shtick is like going to pubs to see how good the Guinnesses are, because I guess the pub culture, if you put like the good mark of a real good pub is how well they can pour a Guinness. You know, but allegedly, I'm not really too familiar with that. I just drink what I drink. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not really that cultured when it comes to those things. But he goes to all these places, finds out if the Guinness is good, compares their prices for a pound of Guinness, different places, the environment where they're at, talks to locals a little bit. It's a pretty fun channel. It's a little bit blear. It's a little bit, you know, dark and a little bit sad because a lot of the places are really run down and boarded up and shit. And it's, you know, sad to see people, you know, literally on the poverty line. But it's also cool to see him kind of giving these places a bit of light.
There's some half decent buildings here, but Christ, just look at the state of them. You can tell these have been shut for a while, these ones. Just all rubbish left inside it, stuff like that.
But honestly, when I see these type of things, the first thing I think about, like these amazing, you know, these spaces that are dilapidated and abandoned, I think about the potential of redevelopment, the potential like of studios. Like that's the first thing I think about. Like the moment I start to fucking do Kai Cena ISO speed numbers, forget getting, you know, most people in the UK are obsessed with going to live in places like Canary Wharf or these big, like, you know, crazy expensive high-rise buildings somewhere along the River Thames. Fuck that. The moment I start making Kai Cena money, ISO speed money, I'm taking my P and going wherever in England, maybe Manchester, maybe Liverpool, maybe Newcastle, where it's cheap, and just buying a studio out there and getting an amazing fucking property, maybe a big space where I can have an actual built out studio with like different fucking sets on it, and just setting up shop there. Because there are places outside of London where, you know, you can kind of, for lack of a better term, take advantage of how dilapidated it is and get a pretty decent space with pretty, you know, nice room and not a lot of rent, or maybe the more you can just buy it outright. Without paying exorbitant rent prices here in London, because I've checked out studio spaces here in London, and Jesus Christ, some of these studio spaces in London, like even just especially studio spaces that have a door, like if you're in a studio space, it's just a desk. Because in London we have this phenomenon where you can share a studio. You can share a studio space, which is basically just a desk, and then you have it from like 6 to 12, and then the other person has it from fucking 1 to 6 or something, or whatever, or 12 to 6. It's also really hard to find studio spaces that have got doors on them, right? Everyone's got an open plan studio, but to find a studio space with a door, you're kind of playing like rental prices. You're paying like maybe £600, £700 a month for a studio space that has a door. So they're really expensive. So I would never go and get a studio space here. I'd rather just, you know, stream or fucking make content from my flat right for the time being. But the moment that changes in terms of finances and stuff, I'm taking my money, I'm going somewhere up north and getting like a sick warehouse space somewhere and just, you know, doing content from there, because it doesn't really matter. As long as you got Wi-Fi and a good connection, who gives a fuck where you're at? But because there's so much space, there's so much things that you can take advantage of outside London, especially if you're making decent money.
Shame. So you got an old, that was a hotel, but you got buildings to the left of it, houses. But this is only 2 streets away from the front. Oh, you can see the ride down there, so we'll get down there, see what's happening. But the actual living arrangements around here don't seem too bad. It seems like everyone keeps up with maintaining the properties around here. Now, one thing I've never understood about Blackpool is people say to come here for like a week. Now, the people who do come here for like a week tends to be the older generations. Now, I don't know what you can do for a week. Come just on a weekend, if you're older generation, you're probably not going to be on the pleasure beach, and that's like a day activity. So I just like to know what people actually do for a week here, because you can't spend a week on the arcades. Surely not. It's only too many 2p's you can actually spend. And you can't go on the pier every single, well, you can go on the pier every single day if you want to, but once you've seen it, you've seen it. And
I wonder what their like overall life, because there's a ratio, right? I think there's, I forgot what it's called, but it's something about like life satisfaction or something on those kind of lines. Because some of these houses this guy's passing by, they look fucking nice. Like detached, semi-detached houses. They look like they're probably 4-bedroom minimum, 2 bathrooms. Like these look like some nice cribs, but you're also living in Blackpool. So I wonder what happens there. Are you okay? Like, do you feel happy because you've got like a nice crib and you're not paying that much for it? But it's like the day-to-day dreary because you live in Blackpool. There's nothing's open after 6 p.m. and it's fucking black and cold and windy, and you know what? I wonder if that's a good bargain to have. Like, okay, you got all the space, you're not paying that much on your mortgage or your rent. You can afford to have a nice car, maybe 2 cars. But then your kids are in an area where there's like not much life. It's not really inspiring. It's a little bit drab and dreary. I don't know. I wonder how that bargaining works out in people's brains.
And like I say, the weather's not always that good, so it's not like you got baking hot weather for like a week straight, like in Benidorm or something. Roll goes there, Big Blue Hotel. That gets pretty loud, that's the, I think that's the Pepsi Max one, if I'm right. Staying at that hotel, hearing people screaming, you know, you've had a hefty night and you want to get some sleep at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, and then you got Pepsi Max going over your head. Ooh, nice harsh smell of weed there. Let's get away from the harsh realities of Blackpool, maybe.
Yo, big up the stream chat. Big up Half Moon Bardo. Haven't been here in a hot minute. Damn. Yeah, big up Half Moon Bardo. Yeah, man got demonetized, so I was also out of the algorithm. So hopefully now, once I've been remonetized, I'm going to pop back into the algorithm now, because I was noticing, you know, I wasn't being shown to a lot of people. So maybe now people will notice me a bit more. Who knows? Hopefully, fingers crossed. Big up Lucas sharing. I went to Leeds to see IT models, and it was wild getting the train up and seeing how many shops were closed, run down compared to London. We were all isolated here from a bit UK. Yeah, wow, I could imagine. I wonder how much fun that was, man. I'd love to see that. That's actually, I wonder how much. Those are probably better events, to be fair, to go to, because people in Leeds probably don't get access or don't see those type of DJs often. Also, it says a lot about IT models and his ability to grind to play somewhere like Leeds. You'd imagine he'd be going to all the major, you know, I know Leeds is still a major city, but you'd imagine he'd be going to like a Manchester, Liverpool, way more New London than Leeds. That means he's really out there grinding. So those raves are probably the best because, again, everyone's there. It's not really, you know, used to seeing those people out there playing. So that's a sick little thing to see. And big up Sinners podcast as well. Big up Sinners. Let's go, let's go. Actually, let me fast forward a little bit so you can see a little bit where the pub is, because I think this is one of some of the good sections where he goes into pubs and he sees what they look like. I think it's around here somewhere towards the end, right? There we go. Some of these places look super ratty, but let's see, where is it? Yeah, there, around here.
But are you looking forward to the most dingy, disgusting pub crawl you can ever have?
Of course, it's something different. So.
Happy in that? Right, let's crack on. It's on the way up. Right, I'll give you a view now. There we go. That's what it's about. It's getting a bit windy. £5 I've spent for this content, so you best enjoy it. Right, so we're going in a lifeboat now. Just one street off the front. Should be alright. See who's kicking off.
Kicking off, I'm not sure about kicking off. Oh yeah.
Hi. Don't push you there.
That looks nice.
Cheers, mate. It's alright in here.
I'm not gonna lie, this looks a little bit drab and it looks a little bit depressing, but I'd love to go out on a night like this out somewhere. I'm not gonna lie, I'd way rather go out on a night in Blackpool like this than go out somewhere in London. This looks like a bit of a vibe. There's so many characters there, karaoke in the pub, which is not really that common anymore in pubs in London for some reason. That would be a bit of a vibe, I'm not gonna lie. That looks like fucking fun.
Down here. Oh, two. Right, here we go. This is the dingiest pub in Blackpool, so see what's kicking off in there. There we go.
Jesus.
Oh my God, yeah.
Look at that. Jesus Christ. That pub looks like a circus. Or like, it looks like one of those, I don't know, one of those stores in Covent Garden from back in the day. It's like a haberdashery. It's like a knick-knack shop, you know? It's got some piercings, some leggings. It might sell some hats, some badges, some stickers, some backpacks. It might have a cobbler in the corner. Like, absolutely mental. But this is something that I'd love to do for clubs. I want to do something like this and show some of these places in the daytime and just take a snapshot of what it looks like on the outside, the street, and kind of give people a bit of a vibe of Wagwan. That might be a good thing going forward, I'm not gonna lie.
I tell you exactly, I don't know where to go in this place.
Jesus Christ.
2 bars are open all year. It's plasma TV. Jesus.
Open until 4 AM.
Let's see what's happening in there, boys.
Plasma TV as well.
Oh, I'll tell you what, you get that smell of...
This is the type of pub if you walk into as a black guy, you can't complain if people turn around and look at you. It's the type of pub you walk into as a black guy, you shouldn't cry and complain and think people are being racist because they're looking at you. No, they're looking at you because they haven't seen anyone like you in their area ever. You know, you're the first person to walk in with like a Lil Webe shirt, you know, some fancy BB Simon's belt. They're just shocked to see you as a person. It's not even a race thing, honestly, because they probably know everybody that goes in there or anybody associated with the pub. They've seen literally every person who's walked in that place within the last, like, you know, 10 years. And here you come, shiny, looking like you're from London, thinking people are looking at you because it's racist. No, sometimes it's just because you look so different to compare to them.
Here we go, back at Mark Howley's. Let's see what's kicking off. Right, okay, just the end of the video.
Split the G.
I'm not splitting the G. Go on, split the G. I'll split the G because he wants me to split the G. Right, go on then.
Absolute vibes, absolute vibes. So that's the plan going forward. You may see an Agostino Zinga show special where I do like a little expose, a little review, a little vlog on some of the best clubs in London, and I'll focus on one of them. I won't focus on the area because, like I said, there's not enough clubs for me to focus on an area. And then I'll probably do like a quick little, 7-minute, 10-minute video on that. So you may see it on here on its standalone channel. But Honest Places has inspired me. Honest Places has inspired me. Talking about things that I find inspiring. This video has gone somewhat viral on my side of the internet. And it features a young lady in a nightclub somewhere. Let me take off the sound. It features a young lady in a nightclub somewhere. As you can see from the screen grab, she's dancing, having a good time. And behind her, there's a young gentleman who's leering and being very friendly with his hands and his body, to the point where he decides to put his hand around this woman's neck in a playful way to choke her or sexual way. I'm not sure what he's trying to do, but they don't know each other. So clearly, the woman doesn't respond that well to the hand on her neck or over her shoulder, and she gets freaked out. And she starts, making faces. And I guess he's still behind her, touching her, and her friends are recording, and it's just a weird scenario all around, right? But this is also not very uncommon in any nightclub in London. In any nightclub in London, this is like a regular occurrence. The funny thing is, in this particular regard, or the thing that's made this go viral, I think, is because the dude's Indian or Pakistani, one of them, right? Not too sure where. But I think that's the reason why people are kind of digging into him a bit more, because there's been this, I think some of you have probably seen it online. I feel like there's been a lot of like anti-Southeast Asian rhetoric out there, especially for the guys back home. I think they've been getting some really bad press, bad PR. People have been sharing videos of people going to India and, what the street food is like, and some of the more dilapidated, poorer areas in Pakistan and India. They're talking about how unhygienic it is, and some of the, some of them dodgier times that they've been in there and what they've experienced. Obviously, I don't think it's a fair reflection of the country. I think those are isolated incidences, and I think they're also done on purpose to try and make these guys look away. And I just think culturally, some places are just a bit different, isn't it? People just do things differently to what we are used to in Western Europe. I think that's the whole reason why you go to this type of places. You kind of roll the dice. I think some of the best food I remember having in my life, eating ever, was made by, some fucking tias in Nicaragua when I was traveling there for a bit. And a lot of these tias were cooking this food with their bare hands, sweating, wearing no gloves, no fucking mesh hats, no nothing. Some of the food I ate in Nicaragua was, had flies flying all around it, and it was incredibly tasty. So I think in some of these countries, they just don't, fuck with food standards the way we do. And sometimes it's for the best. But in this particular scenario, as tempting as it could be for people to be racist, I think you should look at this thing and think to yourself, this is more to do with the clubbing space as opposed to the guy's race. This is why I say safe spaces are a myth. I think I've said it plenty of times. I've probably got some stick for it. I've gotten some not so nice DMs about it. But I honestly do think this whole thing that people have been going on in nightclubs, where they've had this mantra that nightclubs are a safe space. I know it probably came about because people were trying to make LGBTQ, queer, gay spaces safer from the regular spaces, because the people that go there and they want them to feel comfortable and feel like they can express themselves and make them feel like they're amongst their peers and their groups and people like they look like them. But I think by and large, if you step out on a night out to have a dance, in a rave, wherever it may be, you have to know that it's not safe. No place at night is safe, especially if you're a woman. You have to have your head in a swivel constantly. You can never let your guard down, because unfortunately, after 9 p.m, the monsters come out. And I remember my mom and dad used to saying to me all the time. My mom and dad would say to me when I was younger, after 9 p.m, nothing good happens after 9 p.m. I'm sure some of you guys' parents said exactly the same thing or something similar. And I used to always scoff. I used to always get a little bit annoyed about it. It's almost like they were trying to subtly tell me not to go outside. But the older you get, the more you start realizing your parents were kind of right, and they had a point. Yes, monsters come out after 9 p.m. I don't know what it is about the dark. I don't know what it is about nighttime. I don't know what it is about, after hours. I'm not too sure what it is about clubs. Maybe it's the anonymity of it. Maybe it's the darkness of it. Maybe it's the fucking sleaze of it. Whatever's going on, there is something about clubs. There's something about darkness. There's something about the beats. There's something about the smoke, the LEDs, maybe the way people are dressed, that just turns certain guys into animals. And it's not nice. It's not cool. It's not safe. It's not chill. It's not brim. It's not nothing. But I think, as I've always said, I try to operate in the world as it is, as opposed to how I want the world to be. And I think the best way to operate in the world is to kind of operate in it how it is and try and move accordingly. So if you were at a nightclub and you see a guy like this doing what he was doing to this girl on camera, acting creepy, trying to grab her around the shoulders and stuff on his own, because I think he's a level of a psycho that is really scary, because he's by himself and he's being creepy, right? He's alone and he's comfortable being this creepy, right? And he's trying to cover the camera to not be exposed and stuff. I think a guy like this, you have to be very, 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 very careful. And if you see something like this, I'd suggest even leaving the club. I'm not suggesting calling the security and getting them escorted. I would suggest if you're in a nightclub and a guy like this approached you and was being this creepy and was being this weird and was being this sex pesty, was being this hassly, was being this harassy, handsy, everything else above, I would go as far as saying that I would advise them to leave, because a guy like this is kind of scary. He's not in a group, he's by himself, and he's persistently trying to touch this girl. And she's making it very clear with her body language, maybe with some of her screams, which I can't hear over the video, that she's not comfortable with it. Big up the friend recording. The friend recording's doing a good job. I'm sure they're doing it on purpose. She's probably recording her friend with this guy on purpose to kind of get his face on camera. And she keeps like trying to focus it on his face. He keeps trying to move away and hide behind a friend. But I think instead of doing these type of games, instead of playing into this sort of thing, I think you're better off to just leave. But this is a good example why nightclubs are very, very dangerous places to be if you're a young woman or anybody of any type of vulnerability. You kind of have to have a head in a swivel. You can't go into spaces thinking they're safe spaces and being comfortable with the promoters and thinking because the people that put on the party are very strict and they have rules of conduct and house rules pinned on the Instagram page. That doesn't matter, man. That doesn't matter. You have to deal with the club as it is in that moment and not be what's that word called? Not let yourself get taken advantage of. That's what you have to be doing, which is the same for looking after your drinks. It's the same for looking after your friends. It's the same for looking after yourself, being aware of your surroundings. But you can never let your fucking guard down, because there's always a creep like this around the corner, you know, looking to take advantage. And most likely this guy's stone cold sober as well, hasn't had a lick of a drink and just waiting to pounce and take advantage of somebody. So don't get caught slipping. Don't get caught slipping if you can, please, for a love of good. Big up the stream chat, big up Chris Mac Wagwan. Yo, AZ, you heard the rumors of one chick who got blasted out by 1,000 dudes. It's supposed to be pregnant. What's her name? Bonnie Blue or something? No, it's not true, bro. It's not true. It was all a big little. It was like a marketing stunt. Her and the other girl basically tricked everybody thinking that they were pregnant. Bonnie Blue and Lily. Is it Lily Phillips? I think Lily Phillips. It's not true. I think it was some sort of prank for like IVF. It was weird. Like they pranked everybody that they were pregnant. And the whole reason why they did it was to raise money for like IVF support or something. I was like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, it was some sort of prank. But big up Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips regardless. And big up this girl too for being on point and noticing that guy was being creepy and trying to run away. Big up her. Big up her. Moving on. Let's talk about the hundreds, man. Let's talk about the hundreds. First of all, first news, courtesy of Hypebeast. Rosewood Forever, the hundreds LA store closing marks the end of an era. So this is not actually the first store. The first store was the smaller one, I think around the corner if I'm not mistaken, but the main Rosewood store anyway, the one that everyone would kind of known in modern times, mostly because I think of Odd Future, Anwar Carrots, all those type of dudes who were kind of hanging around that store first and kind of blew up off the back of it and helped, you know, the hundreds be what they are. But I kind of remember the hundreds, I think because the Paisley hoodie released in the store around the corner, it was a smaller one, wasn't as big as this Rosewood one. But regardless, Rosewood store is closing. This is courtesy of Hypebeast article. It says 18 years have gone by quicker than you can say Adam Bomb. With the hundreds recent announcement that it will close its store in Fairfax Avenue, nearly 2 decades run, the 2 different chapters are concluded. The first to reach its end was at the hundreds retail presence, and the brand has long been known for its immersive brick-and-mortar experiences, which after its zenith included, besides the Fairfax District store, the hyper-localized outpost on both Post Street and Grand Street in New York City. You can see here some of their retail stores. They've always known for having cool retail store installations. That's not even mentioning the 2 different locations, the hundreds flagships around Fairfax, both pictured above. 7909 Rosewood, the brand's first flagship, was tucked on the quiet, narrow side street. Yeah, I think that's the one I remember. I think I remember this one. I think that was the one I remember. That's the one that was on the side street. I'm pretty sure that was the one I remember. Perfectly capturing the streetwears. If you know, Ethos when it opened in 2007, the second much larger establishment. So there's a metaphor for the brand's growth and deep Los Angeles roots, which was around the corner at 510 Fairfax Avenue. But the second conclusion and what that represents is the most bittersweet. The 100's final OG Fairfax streetwear brand is to close its door for good. And there's a final picture of Bobby Hundreds and Ben Hundreds standing outside the store with it completely empty. At its peak, from the mid 2000s through the 2010s, Fairfax which replaced Melrose Avenue as LA's most in-the-know shopping stretch when Supreme LA opened in 2004, was one of the biggest streetwear hubs in the world. Rivaled only by New York's Lower East Side and Tokyo's Harajuku neighborhood, the retailers in the street read like an all-star team. The 100, Supreme, Diamond Supply, Huff, Crooks and Castle, in later days Pink Dolphin, Odd Future Store, and today if you stroll down the 3-block stretch at Fairfax High School, you'll find outfits like the Gold Gods, Rip and Dip, and Heaven by Marc Jacobs nestled amongst the original Jewish businesses like Cantor's Deli and a few OG holdouts like Flight Club and Hall of Fame. Wow, full Hall of Fame and Flight Club are still there. That's pretty sick, man. Hall of Fame and Flight Club are still there. I didn't know that. That's pretty awesome. When we moved in, the only players on Fairfax at the time were Supreme and the Reserve bookstore, so the 100's co-founder Bobby Hundreds. We felt like it was there could be a future for LA there. We ended up moving in and turned it into a clubhouse, he said in 2019. Ben Hundreds and I worked there, but people would just start hanging out in the afternoon, and then I would blog about it. We'd be playing music, smoking, drinking. We would just hang out there all day, all night. And what was initially used as an office space soon became the 100's first store after the brand made $100,000, adjusted for inflation, approximately 157 in today's money, in one day of the release of their ultra popular Paisley hoodie, and reinvested the profits into the physical presence. Yo, that Paisley hoodie, that fucking Paisley hoodie, they got an original article for it. I wish they would reissue that hoodie. I know they're not probably going to do it. They want to move on to other things. But oh my God, bro. I was obsessed. I think I had I'm not going to lie, I think I had 5 of these. And I dyed them different colors. So if you're not aware, the Paisley hoodie is the hoodie with the Paisley print all over them. And I guess they screen printed it all over the hoodie. And the really cool thing they did is that you could dip dye it, especially the white one. So you can kind of dip dye it, tie dye it to get different effects, different colors on your hoodie. Some people went with purple, some people did rainbow colors, whatever you wanted to do. But these were so coveted. They were hard to get a hold of. I think at the time I was that's the thing actually. I was familiar with Bobby Hundreds. So Bobby Hundreds was the first person. Bobby Hundreds was the first person I met in streetwear who was super fucking safe. Like one of the nicest guys ever that I met. And I think that was when I was interning at this brand called 12 Bar back in the day. There was a London streetwear brand called 12 Bar. Big up Nick. I used to intern for them, and they were really good friends with Bobby Hundreds and Ben Hundreds. And one year he came over, and this was a time when I was writing for Hypebeast, writing for Hypebeast website. I was a mod on Hypebeast forums back in the day, and I was just online all the time on these forums and raiding and fucking being a fucking nerd. And I guess they told him and said how much of a fan I was of him. And then when he came over, he was just super nice. This was around the time when I was first trying to get into streetwear here in London, and I was getting kind of bad vibes and rudeness from loads of London streetwear brands. You'd go to places like Good Hood. What's that store called? I forgot the fucking name of it. The one that was next to Auto fucking Bape. It wasn't Good Hood. It was owned by the Gimme 5 people. I forgot the fucking name of it. I think the Hideout. I think the name of it was the Hideout. I remember going into the Hideout one time early on and getting really bad vibes from the guys that worked there, like cunts, a lot of them, right? A lot of the people in streetwear in London back in the day was super cunty and had really terrible attitudes. So I remember it was so refreshing when Bobby Hundreds came over to visit the Nick guy and hang out and kind of see some stores. He was the nicest guy ever. He gave me the time of day. We spoke about a couple of things. I took a picture of him, I think, at the rooftop where we were at one time. I think I might have done a little interview with him as well. And we kind of kept loosely in touch over the internet. And he's just a really nice dude. So it was cool to see him winning. Because I think he was one of the first sort of weird, is that people's champ? I don't know how to describe it. But he was really kind of good at documenting the process of running the 100s. Of the ups and downs of having a brand, finding manufacturers, selling out on products, how to satisfy demand, people feeling like he went through the hundreds this corny phase when they started selling in zoomies, and you know the taboo or the kind of bad thing around the store, the brand, because people think it was associated with Filipinos, all this sort of thing. He went through all these ups and downs, right? Loads of industry shit. I remember there was a collab that was meant to happen with Supreme that didn't happen because Supreme kind of looked down on them a little bit. Like there was a lot of drama, a lot of stuff happening around fucking the hundreds. The Diamond Co-Supply link up, Mighty Healthy shit. I forgot the guys who did like there was a guys connected with the hundreds who had like a brand that was about making hoodies or tracksuits of the same fabric that your grandmother's sofa was made out of. I forgot the brand, what they were called, but they blew up those guys. They were involved in that whole Pharrell Can't Skate movement, playing Gravy, putting that on their website. That was really interesting. I wonder if Pharrell still hates them from this day. I wonder if there's still a bit of bad blood there between Bobby Hundreds and Pharrell, because he was very he played an instrumental role in the Pharrell Can't Skate movement. But yeah, man, big fan of the hundreds, big fan of these guys in general. So Rosewood Store's closing, and now we've got this news as well, courtesy of Stay Grounded, that Bobby Hundreds is stepping down as creative director of the hundreds after 22 years. I didn't know it's been so long. I didn't know it had been so long, bro. 22 years, the brand is that old. Fucking hell. I still remember the time. I still remember the day, the time when Bobby created the fucking the logo, that fucking Adam Bomb logo, and I remember the competition around naming it. I think I might have sent like 10 entries in, I swear to God, try and name it, because I think there was a pretty decent prize, like you win some money, you win some clothes. I remember that was a big deal at the time. So I'm old enough to remember when there was a competition to name that fucking logo. So it's kind of wild to see him stepping down. But I do like it, I'm not gonna lie. I do fucking like it. It kind of reminds me of why I fell in love with streetwear in the first place, especially like Japanese streetwear. A lot of those designers, people like even Hiroshi Fujiwara, John Takahashi of Undercover now, Nigo and stuff, they would always like have these little brands that they would start and then just drop, you know? They just like drop it and start some other project. It wasn't like cool to kind of hold on and keep, you know, doing the same thing every day. You'd kind of just transition, you'd hand it over to somebody else, you start another project, or you just end it. So it's quite nice to see him deciding not to kill the brand, just step away and let somebody else take over, which I really like. And it was kind of evident because I think lately, over the last couple of seasons, I've noticed that a lot of the collections haven't been designed by him. They've been designed by this other kid who people are shouting out here called David Rivera. I've seen a lot of his stuff go out, and I think I really liked it. I'm not gonna lie, I really liked a lot of stuff that he's been designing, and I feel like it's the right thing to do, especially if maybe Bobby's heart isn't in it as much. I know he's writing a bunch more. He's got that popping Substack. He put out a really good book. You know, he's doing whatever he's doing in that regard. So maybe his heart isn't in designing as much, and maybe he just doesn't have anything to say, right? Maybe he's at a stage now where he can't really speak to 21-year-olds anymore, you know, and in terms of what they want clothing wise. So you're better off just letting somebody that's a bit younger, a bit more tapped in, to kind of take over the reins, and hopefully, who knows, maybe give the brand a new lease of life, you know, going forward. You never fucking know. So this is coach of Stay Grounded, Bobby Hundred stepping down, creative director of 100 after 22 years. He says he has a quote, me relinquishing control over it is the best thing that could ever happen to the brand at this point in time. I agree, because there's a possibility the hundreds could end up being a next Stussy in terms of revitalizing, reviving the brand, because Stussy went for a bit of a lull. Yes, there was a lot to do with the licensing and the ownership and shit, but they steadied the ship after time, and I think a lot of that has to do with getting in fresh talent, new blood to design the brand. So yes, the brand is still what it is. We know Stussy, we know its legacy, but there's a whole new different team of people in there who are designing for that brand, which is kind of giving it a new lease of life. So I wonder if that may serve the hundreds good in the long term. Maybe we'll see the hundreds 2.0, 3.0, whatever it may be going forward, will be a completely different aesthetic, different sort of feel, different sort of vibe, which will be the great way to kind of continue the legacy of the hundreds, because even if Bobby Hundreds isn't there designing, he's still going to be credited for a lot of the good stuff they're doing because of all the work he's put there forward. So I think this is the best route forward going forward for the brand. And I think it also nicely ties in. You close down the store, you relinquish control, and it gives the next person a chance to kind of step into it and kind of, you know, open a new chapter, blank page, you know, without having to feel like they're having to build off the back you're doing. It's almost like they start on a blank canvas, which I really fucking appreciate. It says here, quote, courtesy I think of the GQ magazine interview, What comes next for the hundreds? The brand has the online shop and retailers, but what does the next chapter look like? I'm effectively stepping back as far as creative control and oversight of how the 100 looks, feels from here on forward, which is fucking brilliant, by the way. I love that. I love that he's actually doing it and not just saying it, you know, like, hey, this is your brand now, run with it. This is the first time that someone has had thought for creative control, and that's David Rivera. He's been with us for more than half the existence of the company. At this point, he grew up on the brand as a fan. He started off at the bottom as a photo assistant, and then he became an accessories designer and then an apparel designer. He's worked every role in design. He's worked his way up to the point of creative director, where we now have entrusted him with the brand over the last couple of years. That is so fucking sick. That is so motivating. That is so inspiring. That's the kind of story that should be shared to everyone out there about what can happen, the possibilities, if you're fucking hardworking, if you're talented, and if you stay the course. This kid probably started off as an intern, probably started off not making any money, and then slowly but surely worked his way up to the point where now he's the creative director of the hundreds. And even if it doesn't go well, even if there's a scenario where this relaunch, this rebrand, this kind of like redo of the hundreds doesn't work out under David Rivera's stewardship, he's still gonna have the ability, he's still gonna have the evidence, the fucking catalog, the portfolio of however many years he's done working with the brand to then serve him well for the next stuff that he does, whether it's his own brand, whether it's another fucking creative director role. But I think he's gonna kill this one. I think if he's a fan as much as Bobby's saying he is, I think he's gonna take a lot of pride. He's gonna take it as a challenge to try and restore the hundreds and to try and take it to all new heady heights. I can see it happening because some of the stuff that I've seen online of this new chapter of the hundreds has looked really fucking good. Like, this is the latest stuff, right? This is from spring 2025. And this was all designed by this David Rivera kid. And I've got to be honest, man, this is fucking good shit. Some of these sweatshirts, the hoodies, the cut on the pants, on the jeans, the graphics on the t-shirts. This is really good stuff. Like that jacket. Look at that jacket, bro, with the ball on the back of it. The hundreds, lots of buffalo. Look at that fucking jacket. Like, this is fucking great. I still remember the jeans with the fucking I forgot what the I think that was to do with earthquakes. This logo on the back of the jeans. But I remember having that myself before on a pair of raw denim jeans. Like, he's doing some good stuff to David Rivera already. This fucking pinstripe worker's jacket is fucking gorgeous. It's basically like a worker's jacket, but is it padded? I'm not sure if it's padded, but this is fucking brilliant. Like, he's already doing some really fucking lovely stuff. This is one of my favorite flips, logo flips. This is one of my favorite ones. He's taken the Vivienne Westwood logo and turned it into an atom bomb with the Vivienne Westwood font. The hundreds Rosewood. I love that. I fucking love that. And who knows, maybe going forward, Rosewood will become its own collection too. Maybe that'll be the preppy side of fucking the hundreds. They'll start doing suits and shit. I'd love to see that happening as well going forward. But look at this stuff, man. This wouldn't look out of place in the Stussy lookbook. This look here, look number 9, would not look out of place in the Stussy lookbook. This shadow plaid flannel thing with a collar, that green beanie, the nice pants with the elongated belt. I think the pants have a little bit of a boot cut flare in them. The model wearing fucking Dr. Martin boots. I think this is a really good stuff, man. Already he's doing some really good shit over there at the 100. So I've got no doubt in my mind that this David Rivera guy is gonna take this brand to whole new heights going forward. Like, even this is a cool modern interpretation of what's going on. Before, I don't think the hundreds would have done this. This is very LA-esque, right? Taking these kind of like sweatsuits with the flare bottoms, kind of remind me of Hellstar, right? It kind of looks like Hellstar. It kind of looks a little bit like what's the brand called again? Fear of God. It's given a Fear of God Essentials Hellstar kind of vibe, but it's also done a very Adam the 100 story kind of vibe. That logo there is absolutely amazing. Wow, the hundreds logo there with what looks like is an Inca warrior, American Indian warrior. I'm not sure what that is, but that graphic is fucking phenomenal. And looks, yeah, the hats are really nice as well. So I think this David Rivera guy is really doing a really good job. Look at the embroidery in the back of that jacket. Oof, that is gorgeous. And that was something that was really hard, and I think he's gonna find it really challenging to do, because I remember back in the day, a lot of people used to get really embarrassed about wearing the hundreds clothes when it said the hundreds, because it was kind of, there was a time where it went through a corny stage and people didn't like wearing the clothes. Although they make really good quality stuff, people didn't like wearing it. The name was a bit corny. So I wondered how that's going to be for this David Rivera guy going forward. Do you make more clothing that says explicitly the hundreds on it and just hope people will like it, or do you just try to make the clothes good and then splatter the hundreds on it and convince people that this stuff is not corny. Like, what do you do? Or do you subvert the logo? Do you make it more tonal? I wonder what he's going to do going forward. But I personally love it. Like, that's a classic hundreds hat, by the way. I remember when this got introduced, this fucking faux starter-esque hat that the hundreds were doing back in the day. Absolutely classic hat. I think I had these in like 7 colorways back in the day. I'm not gonna lie, I went fucking crazy with them, and some good shit over there. So yeah, I think this David Rivera kid has got a chance of kind of restoring the feeling when it comes to the hundreds. He continues, relinquishing control over this is the best thing that could ever happen to the brand at this point in time. Souls of Mischief, this rap group, has a song called Limitations, where they say MCs should know their limitations, and I know my limitations. Do I think I know how to design well? Do I think I understand street fashion well? Absolutely. But am I the one to do it the best for the hundred at this point in time? I'm not. And David is. Having to swallow that pill was incredibly humbling. That says a lot about him as a person, man. That's why I've always liked Bobby Hundreds. That's why I've always liked Bobby Hundreds, and I've always rated him, because I don't think you're going to get a more selfless, humble, chill king than Bobby Hundreds. Especially when you think about what he's done for streetwear. I can only imagine his impact he's had on like Asian Americans over there. Seeing somebody like him operate a brand like the hundreds at that level for that length of consistency. Just the mere fact that he's been doing it as a career for so long. I'm sure the hurdles he's kind of been having to come across or come over, convincing your family, proving people wrong in and around you. When the hundreds went through a few of his ups and downs, riding through that storm, you know, employing people, firing people. He's made a bunch of people's careers, giving people their first chances at doing certain things. Like, he's done some amazing shit over the years, and again, he's very humble and very chill and quiet about the stuff. He probably should be a little bit more braggadocious and maybe talk with his chest a bit more about the things that he's done. But I think the reason why he doesn't is also the reason why he's able to be very self-aware and be like, you know what, I could probably continue still making this and still be the #1 guy, sort of like running this brand, and people probably wouldn't notice too much, and will probably just keep chugging along aimlessly for another 10-20 years. But if I really want this brand to do bits and to kind of have another, because that's the thing as well as possible, who knows, the David Rivera kid, if he's able, he could possibly reinvigorate new light in this brand energy, and maybe it kind of captures a whole different group of kids who probably would never check in for the hundreds in the first place, and it becomes a whole different thing going forward. You know what I mean? So you have the ability, like, relinquishing control gives the hundreds a possibility to actually continue on for far longer than even when Bobby Hundreds is going to be alive. You never fucking know. This is so fucking cool. And then we've got the last screenshot here that features David Rivera's LinkedIn and his fucking journey from the hundreds. So it features here, he started off as a product photography assistant at the hundreds in October 2011 to December 2011 for 3 months. And then I guess he impressed enough to come back again to be the visual communications person at the hundreds for a year from 2012 to 2013. Then he got promoted to be headwear and accessories designer at the hundreds from 2013 to 2017, which he did for 4 years. And then he became head of special projects, which I guess is to do with collaborations and shit, from 2017 to 2022. And then he became creative director in April. And I guess now he's taken over as creative director entirely. I guess he was creative director in part with Bobby Hundreds. They're working probably tandem, but now he's the sole creative director of the hundreds going forward. So I fucking love it. I fucking love it. Big up, 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 big up. David Rivera. He seems like a fucking great person, and I'm hoping he invigorates and puts some new life into the hundreds going forward. And I can't wait to see what he does going forward. I really, really can't wait to see what he does going forward. So big up David Rivera. Big up blood clot David Rivera. Moving on quickly. We got this post again, courtesy of Stay Grounded, regarding Tyler the Creator, talking about how he was not happy with the treatment he got when he went to some store with Lil Yachty. So this is a screenshot taken from Stay Grounded. He said, went to a shop with the bro, and these niggas posted some random hidden camera footage for some weird ass reasons. Likes, clout, proof we were there. I don't know, but I don't know niggas is weird. I do know niggas is weird. So Tyler's not happy that this store they went to, a random consignment store, streetwear store, vintage store, ended up posting pictures of them whilst they're in there shopping from the fucking screenshot of, you know, for the CCTV image of them in there. And it continues the rant. It says niggas are weird. is weird as fuck and never got slapped before, cause someone that knows bounds wouldn't do this, and all niggas say is sorry. Like, no, nothing in your mind said that wasn't weird. Niggas ain't even know that they were being recorded, then you uploaded it. I hate you niggas, man. I be iffy on going in niggas store cause of shit like this. PSA, if you aren't weird with folks and they feel comfortable, they will come back. But all you niggas grow up with parents that told you stop or no, and I will keep complaining about this shit because I'm not one of the passive niggas. I will tell you when I don't like it. Be cool, man. I guess he's got a point, because this kid or this person, whoever owns the store, has now fucked up their ability of having Tyler or Yachty go back to their store again, right? Because you got too excited and you went to post that they were in your store, and now you've kind of burned that bridge. But I think also in Tyler's case, take it easy, brother. It's not that deep. It really isn't that deep. Yes, it's a bit weird that they posted you from their CCTV footage on their social media somewhere. You feel kind of violated. You want to run around town, you know, inconspicuous and do your thing in private without everybody recording your every move. But you also Tyler fucking the Creator. Do you know what I mean? You have to know that people are going to be a bit gassed. They're going to be a bit geeked, right? They're going to be a little bit, you know, a little bit whatever when it comes to seeing you outside. So just take that instead and keep it moving. You already got what you needed in terms of the clothing. Maybe he's more frustrated because he actually liked the store and he actually does want to go back, but he doesn't want to give these guys satisfaction of going back, and he kind of wants to punish them. But I think he should chill out a little bit. I don't think it's that deep, Tyler the Creator. I don't think it's really that deep. Let's take a deep breath and let's relax. It really isn't that deep, but it would be beneficial if a lot of these stores didn't do this. I've always wondered in general how stores are allowed to do that anyway. When like a really interesting, no, when a really crazy altercation happens in their store, like the one recently that happened of that kid getting smoked, or that kid smoking those two guys. I think it was in a vape store somewhere. This American kid was buying something, and yeah, in the vape store, and these two guys came up to try and rob him, and it didn't go well. The kid ended up pulling out his gun, shoots one of them in the stomach, and then as he's standing up and walking out the store, he shoots the other one in the head. Miraculously, both of them are still alive, I read somewhere. But anyway, that CCTV footage came out, and I was always wondering, how does that stuff get released? Like, how is that legal? Like, isn't that like an open police investigation? It's probably attempted murder, if not murder. There's a lot of stuff going on there. How can people just record the CCTV footage of that from their workplace and just upload it and there's no consequences? It's so bizarre. It happens a lot in America, I feel like. Even just like stuff like mugshots. Like that's like, they constantly get leaked, or people's hospital records, or people in hospitals, or whatever it may be. Really sensitive stuff kind of gets out there, and I never really understand why somebody is allowed to do that or can do that. But anyway, regardless, I think Tyler needs to relax. It's not that deep. It really isn't that deep. Just take a big breather, my friend, and just let people geek out and be excited if they want to see you. That's it. That's it, really. That's it, really. Moving on, we've got this post courtesy of Lil Yachty, again, courtesy of Stay Grounded. Lil Yachty is releasing his own tequila brand called Yacht Water. The imagery is really cool. The graphic design, the artwork for the fucking boxes and the tins of it is really funny as well, are really kind of well done. But the first thing that came to mind when I saw this, Lil Yachty doesn't even drink, does he? I'm not gonna lie, I don't think Lil Yachty drinks. So this whole thing is strange in terms of him releasing a tequila. It seems like an interesting or weird cash grab because he doesn't drink, from what I'm led to understand, but I could be wrong. Let's play some of the trailer here.
World, Yachty here. And for those who may know me, I'm sure you guys know that I don't really enjoy alcohol. But honestly, it's not that I don't want to. I just don't like the taste. I wanted something better. We wanted something that tastes good. So, we made Yacht Water. Made this drink the way it should be. Really fucking good. Add a free reposado tequila, real fruit juice, sea salt, and sparkling water. That's it. No fake, all real, everything. You probably think I'm a paid sponsor. Well, your stupid ass is wrong. Yacht Water, it's my company. And I did this for us.
Don't get me wrong, I think the packaging is really cool. I like the advert, how he's done it. He looks really good too since he's cut off his fucking hair. I'm not gonna lie, he actually does look way more handsome, pause. But it's a little bit cheeky, isn't it? You don't even drink and you're selling alcohol. It's a little bit cheeky. It's a little bit cheeky. He's not even known as a party. I don't even think he smokes even. I think the most thing he does is sip lean. From back in the day, that was like his big thing. But like, that's a little bit cheeky, isn't it? if the makeup of the drink is what they says as well, it's just tequila, juices or whatever, and sea salt and sparkling water and no other additives, I'm obviously a fan of that, because it's kind of keeping it somewhat kind of plain and, you know, not kind of filling it with loads of fucking nonsense. But it is a really fucking cheeky that he's selling any kind of tequila when he doesn't actually drink. That's a mad cash grab. And if I'm not mistaken, I think someone said it's like 5%. Yeah, it's 5.8% alcohol as well, which is kind of nothing effectively. But the fucking recipe here says it's reposado tequila with fresh orange juice, fresh key lime juice, and also sparkling water and sea salt. I don't know, man. I think it'll be very popular. I quite like it personally. I wonder who's making it. I wonder if this is tied into Barstool or something, because I know he's got his podcast with Barstool, right? So I wonder if Barstool are making this on the back end, the same way how they do like Happy Days. I know Barstool have seltzers. I don't know if this counts as a seltzer, but regardless, I wonder if this is similar to what they're doing. But again, I like the fucking artwork. I like the graphics. I like the box itself, how it comes in. It's giving this kind of vintage feel. But I think the idea of him selling sparkling or selling any kind of tequila, any kind of alcohol when he doesn't drink is incredibly cheeky. But I wouldn't mind trying it. I'm not gonna lie. And he also comes with some pins. There's a key ring here. There's a badge to put on your jacket. So there's some. I'm assuming there might be some fucking streetwear pieces as well going forward. You never know. There might be a little line associated with Yacht Water. But I think the name of it is pretty cool. I love the Yacht Water name, and the flavors of it seem pretty nice as well. Key lime, sunrise, and jalapeno. I'm not too mad at it at all. But I just think it's cheeky that he's selling it because he doesn't drink. But hey, let's see what happens. A couple more here, courtesy of Stay Grounded, before we move on. I've spoken about that. Oh, and then we also got this courtesy of Stay Grounded regarding Lamon Roach fight with what's his name, with Tank the other day, which was a draw. I think a lot of people think Roach won, but this is Stay Grounded saying that the kit that he wore, Lamon Roach, was actually designed by Ian Connor and MOWALOLA, courtesy of MOWALOLA, which some people are impressed by. I'm not really that impressed by it. I think it looks pretty shit. I know it kind of matches the bomber jacket, the New York bomber jacket, the one that everyone's wearing with the kind of NY flip on the front. I think there's a version of that bomber jacket that's like olive green, that's also covered in scribbles and shit. And I think that's the kind of inspiration they've taken for Lamon Roach's walkout outfit that he had when he was fighting Tank. I don't personally like it. I'm not really the biggest fan of the whole like scribble aesthetic anyway. I'm not gonna lie, there's something, maybe it's just me, I'm not the biggest fan of scribble aesthetic. I think the shoes are pretty shit as well. The shoes look pretty gash. I'm not gonna lie. The shoes on the like, are they Jordan 5s? I think they're Jordan 5s. I'm not too sure what they're meant to be, but he's taken Jordan 5s and turned them into boxing shoes. I'm not a fan of them either. I think they look pretty shit as well. Personally, not for me in the slightest. And there's also here some more video footage, clips of Lamon Roach in the fucking ring wearing it as well there with Ian Connor. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't know, I wouldn't have taken that much credit on it if I was Ian Connor. I don't think this is the greatest look when it comes to design, to show your design chops, because I don't think the robe looks that impressive. I don't think the design of the robe looks that's impressive. I don't think the shoes look that impressive, to be fair. It looks a little bit shit personally. The best thing probably about it is the fact that he's got Roach Jr. spelt here in kind of, you know, with these kind of crystals or whatever all over the top of the belt. That looks a little bit cool. But I think the robe, whatever thing he's got going on, kimono shit, isn't the greatest, and the shoes look pretty terrible for me personally. But I could be wrong. Also, I want to talk about a little bit of this regarding Supreme and Aphex Twin. Supreme Aphex Twin collaboration capsule, whatever, is dropping this Thursday. This is the blurb courtesy of Supreme and Aphex Twin. Aphex Twin is a British musician, composer, and DJ, widely regarded as one of the most exciting and influential figures in contemporary music. Over nearly 4 decades, James has continued to proudly reshape electronic music, drawing upon the broadest, weirdest strokes of acid house, jungle, drum and bass, classical, instrumental. James' vast output ranges from placid ambient to frenzied techno and far beyond, using homemade and custom modified equipment as well as non-standard tuning, chord progression and scales. James meticulously composes and arranges sounds unlike any other, while often accompanied by cheeky, outlandish visuals. Many of the work British artists from Chris Cunningham, James's music is emotionally poignant, and this is sonically rich. James was born in 1971 and raised in Cornwall, southeast London, England. He developed his interest in experimental sound and modifying electronics as a child. Prior to making music at 14, James began DJing nearly all the clubs and raves in his late teens while studying engineering at Cornwall College, composing and recording his own tracks. Over the following decade, James released 4 full-length twin Aphex Twin albums, blah blah blah. This intensely prolific period was followed by a 13-year gap between Aphex Twin albums, as his 6th full-length Cyro didn't arrive until 2014. In the years since, James has continued to release music, occasionally cryptically on both his Aphex Twin and across a cadre of mysterious aliases, anonymously uploaded hundreds of demos to SoundCloud. It's all sound, but people forget it, said James. They think, oh, I want to hear a nice tune, but what you're actually saying is that you want to hear a combination of frequencies that make you feel a certain way, and more excitingly, it's about finding out the new ones. So Supremo's worked at Aphex Twin on a new collection for spring 2025, releasing on March 6th. So I have to be honest and say, I really have never really paid much attention to Aphex Twin, not gonna lie. Obviously we all know some of his like big tracks that we probably heard along the time, the years and shit, but I can't ever say I've sat down and listened to his entire discography, albums. Obviously I come across tracks here and there. I might have played the odd track here and there. I think there's one particular track that I remember he's got back in the day that might have been a sample for like a Kanye track. I think it featured John Legend. I forgot which one it was. Was it what track was it? There was a track from maybe it was an April 14th track or something. There's a track that he made that Kanye sampled for one of his albums. I remember tuning into. What's the other track I remember? I remember Window Liquor. That was obviously a bit of a beat back in the day. And I think a few others, but I've never really been the biggest into Aphex, so I'm not gonna lie. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm super hyped for it and jacking it off, because you know I've never really paid much attention to it because I'm not really the biggest fan of like ambient music in general. You know, it's not really for me. But regardless, I know what he means to the culture. I know what he means culturally in general. I know what he means to just art overall and music. So this is a big deal, and I think the execution is done really well. Like this particular jacket featuring his face, which is taken from one of the album covers. Inspiration, I think it's that one that's called like Richard something, right? That's fucking awesome. Over a Gore-Tex jacket, all over print. It's kind of scary to be honest, because it's got his face literally on the front, and it's got it on the back, and it's got his full face on the fucking sleeves. It's not even like they've just done it on the front and the back. No, they've done the full face in full color on the front, back, and the sleeves. That's fucking haunting. There's also a really cool jacket that's got his fucking logo on it as well, that comes in black and camo. It's a Gore-Tex jacket. It looks pretty sick. It also comes in this camo color, which I really fucking love. There's also a matching hat, which is going to be crazy. I'm sure this is going to sell out. This 5-panel hat is absolutely sick, which has got his logo almost like in the bunny ears sort of style, with one big Aphex Twin logo and then the other two on the top to kind of simulate bunny ears or eyes or something. There's also an M65 type of jacket thing going on there as well that I'm not really too mad at. With also a nice picture there on the back. Oh, that jacket is really nice, to be fair. That might be another favorite piece of mine there. I'm not sure if that mask is included. There's also cargo pants as well that I'm not mad at, that come with the fucking outfits. There's a cool sweater that I'm not too mad at as well. Knit sweater looks pretty nice. There's another one too that features an album cover. That's the one with the kids on it. I forgot the name of that album though. The one that features the kids on it. I forgot what the album is called. Is it Come to Daddy or something? I think I might be Come to Daddy. That album cover is really cool as well. I'm not too sure if that hat that he's got here with the sort of tassels on, I'm not too sure if that's part of the collection, but that looks really nice. That's one of my favorite ones actually. This one with the jersey. That jersey one is probably one of my favorite ones there. It features Aphex Twin on the head of some girl's body with the bikini on it. I think that's from the Window Liquor EP, where he's got his face superimposed on some girl's hot body. I think it looks pretty cool. And the pictures themselves as well for the lookbook are really fucking cool. Well done. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, so I think a lot of this stuff was gonna sell out. It's gonna go crazy. I'm sure a lot of the people who love Aphex Twin are also big fans of Supreme and vice versa. This one's pretty cool. Donkey Rhubarb by Aphex Twin on the front here. Also some cool logo on the back there. I'm not mad at it as well in the slightest. Aphex Twin Slazy ambient works here on the back of the t-shirt with Supreme box on underneath it. This is one of my favorite pieces. This is what I'm gonna try and buy actually on Thursday. I'm gonna actually try. I'm not too sure if I'm gonna be successful, but there's some gloves. There's some mechanic gloves with the fucking face printed on it as well. I'm gonna try my bestest. I'm gonna try my darndest. I will try my darndest to fucking buy this. This looks so fucking cool. So you got mechanic gloves. I'll definitely give that a go. It's the same face from the Richard D. Williams album as well, taken on there as well. So I'm gonna give that a go. And is that a coin? I'm not sure if that's a coin or an emblem. I don't know what that is, but yeah, here's the jacket. Oh, it's reversible. That's fucking sick. So the Gore-Tex jacket with his face on it is actually reversible. So it's got camo on the inside. That's pretty sick. So it's just one color. Oh no, it comes in two colors. It comes in all black and it also comes in camo. That is pretty fucking gnarly. I'm not gonna lie. I really like that now. That's gonna go quickly though. That is so fucking awesome. What else do we have here? Yeah, that's the jacket that I love. It almost looks like an M65, but it's not. I'm guessing it's some sort of flight jacket, but it's a really nice one. It's got these really big, massive pockets at the front. At the bottom, it's got some two big chest pockets as well. It's almost this like dyed material, right? It's almost like this dyed, washed out blue material going on as well. I'm not too mad at that either. So this is pretty nice. And I also love the patch on the back of here as well. I'm assuming that's not a patch. It's not just a screen print. I'm assuming that's a patch that's been embroidered with the border all around it. So it's going to be pretty heavy weighted. That's really good quality. It kind of reminds me of K-Vent. I'm not going to lie. This jacket shape and everything is kind of giving me K-Vent vibes. And it's got obviously the Aphex Twin logo here on the side, which I think might be 3M as well. This is a really well done piece. I'm not going to lie. That jacket is really nice. And it also comes in black and grey or white camo. And also comes in a bit of black as well. Yeah, so it comes in black, that navy blue washed out color, and also the camo. You've also got matching cargo pants as well that are also going to be popular, I'd imagine. They look really well done. Oh, look at that sweater. Mohair sweater. That's fucking gorgeous. Actually, they got a name. Sorry, I didn't see here. The names of the things are at the bottom. I should have scrolled down, my bad. It's an Alpha Industries. Okay, it's an Alpha Industries cargo pants. So I'm assuming that top is probably from Alpha Industries too, right? Yeah, it's an Alpha Industries cargo jacket. Okay, cool, my bad. I didn't fucking see that. So Alpha Industries cargo pants and matching cargo jacket. There's a mohair sweater there as well. It comes in pink. Or it's not pink, it's like a purple. I'm assuming color. It also comes in black. That's really fucking cool. There's also a matching button-up shirt, which is really nice. Kind of give me Comme des Garçons vibes, which has got a really cool Come to Daddy logo here at the bottom. And it's also got the Come to Daddy album cover on the back as well, which looks fucking awesome. Or the single album cover. It probably looks the best in that orange in it instead of the white. Oh, actually, maybe the white. Forget the orange. Maybe the white looks the best. That white button up with the Come to Daddy thing looks fucking sick. There's also a matching hoodie that says I care because you do on the back of it as well, which I'm not mad at as well in the slightest. Again, taking inspiration from another singles album cover as well. I care because you do, written on there with the fucking barcode on the front. There's also a long sleeve, that's a thermal, long sleeve thermal with a camo that has the Aphex Twin logo all over it as well. I'm not mad at that. There's also matching shorts, thermal shorts that don't look too shabby. There's a football jersey again continued on, which I also don't mind. It looks pretty sick. And it also comes in oh, I like the camo actually. That camo jersey actually looks quite nice. And also my favorite one actually is this one, with the what you call it, with the album cover with the one with the boobs on the front of it. It was pretty nice as well with the white. There's also a nice long sleeve here, where the Donkey Rhubarb long sleeve with the Teletubby-esque graphics on the back here, which look really nice. Oh, that's a really nice t-shirt, isn't it? That's a straight guy brat summer. That is straight guy brat summer. Ambient works tee, and it's a very ambient neon, very bright short sleeve t-shirt in neon green with the Aphex Twin logo right in the middle, and on the backs you got Aphex Twin Selected ambient works, 85 to 92 on the back as well, with a small Supreme box logo just underneath it. That's probably my favorite. That's a really nice tee. Get that in that neon green and the black, you're fucking winning. That's a nice fucking t-shirt. That is that silver one 3M? I think that might be 3M. You know, that might be a good one. That navy one might be 3M. I think the navy's 3M. And then there's also some matching gloves as well. That's my favorite as well. Another one. Mechanic work gloves, which I'll probably all use to cycle. I wonder if they've been printed. Yeah, I think it's printed, because the ones I bought last time from Supreme that were done with a collaboration from what's it called? What they called again? Iraq. The fucking print went off of them super quickly, so I think these actually be good again to DJ. Yeah, that's why I need to buy them actually. These are gonna be good to fucking DJ when I do my DJ live streams. I'm gonna try and get these. I'm gonna try and get these so badly on this Thursday. The hat is also fucking sick. The 6-panel hat with the Aphex Twin logo is absolutely sick. I'm not gonna lie, I love that as well. I really fucking love that. And there's also a Mantis coin knife. Oh, I love that as well. There's a coin knife. Look at that. It's got Richard's face on it as well. Supreme New York, Aphex Twin, and then it's got like a concealed little knife on it in the inside. That's a knife you can kind of do to little bumps on the knife as well. What's that? Oh, big up Toby Moss. They won't deliver what to the UK, brother? You mean the coin knife? I'm assuming, right? You mean the coin knife, innit? I bet you mean the coin knife. I bet you mean the coin knife, right? That's really fucking cool. I'd love to. And big up Apex Putter. Used mechanic gloves since they came out. Never would have guessed an Apex glove. Yeah. I was saying earlier, the ones that I bought a Mechanics Supreme Iraq gloves, and they're completely they've basically been soiled. They are so stinky and they're whatever, because I was using them too much. I need to save. If I get these gloves, the Aphex, I'm gonna save them for my DJ streams. I'm not gonna use it for anything else, because I fucking ruin them, because they don't really last that long if you're fucking, you know, cycling in them every day and banging them out, especially if they've been 3D printed and shit. I've got quite a few mechanic gloves. I mainly use mine for cycling though, on my little fixie. There's also matching decks as well available. Yeah, cool. Not mad at that. Not mad at that all. Not mad at that. Not mad at that all in the slightest. So I'm definitely gonna try and get some pairs myself. Big up fucking Supreme. Big up Aphex Twin. I think this is one of their best collaborations they've done in recent years, and I can't wait to get some of it myself. I can't wait to get some of it myself. Okay, people. Okay, people. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your fucking time. For those of you watching or listening to this podcast, you will hear my tune of the day. My tune of the day is courtesy of the one and only Jimi Legxacy. It's his new single called Father. It's maybe one of the best singles I've heard in the last 18 months or so, from a very talented UK artist who I'm really hoping is going to be able to drop a sick project this year or more music. I'm really looking forward to it. Incredible record, really poignant lyrics, great sound. One of the best videos. It's kind of harking back to this whole kind of 2000-esque aesthetic as well, but it just gives me a lot of pride in terms of being British and being from London, which is pretty cool to see these young kids not trying to pretend to be American, not trying to pretend to be European, just taking a lot of pride within the stuff that we got up to here in the UK. So it's pretty cool to see some of the iconography, see some of that fucking visuals, to remember back in the days when you were on the bus with your friends in your school uniform, chatting shit, playing games and shit, pushing each other on the top deck of the bus. So it's cool to see him kind of recreating some of that stuff in some of the scenes in school as well. And, you know, chicken shop, you know, situations that we all kind of lived in and lived by. So really, I do recommend you check it out. Jimi Legxacy. The song is called Father. If you don't have a father, you definitely feel a lot of the pain of this record and the joy of this record as well, because it's essentially him telling himself, you know, how well he's turned out despite not having a father, but still wanting to have a father in his life. So it's kind of, I like that tension in the record with that. But it's just a bit of a bop. It's a really good tune. I really recommend you check it out. Jimi Legxacy Father will be playing underneath my voice as my tune today. So definitely enjoying that if you haven't already. For those of you watching, don't leave. You're going to be redirected to the random show. You're going to be redirected to the random show. I'll be starting that in about 5 minutes, so keep an eye out for that. You're redirected to the random show straight away. But thank you for tuning in. Pleasure to have your company. Happy to be back on here, remonetized and raring to go. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care, be safe, people. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out.